Good evening, everybody. Stephen Howson. This is my West Brom Manchester United preview. And I think this is a seriously important game. As I've been saying all week, we have to take each 90 minutes as it comes to us. And this is no different. We really just have to concentrate on tomorrow's game. Not look to Europa, not think about the FA Cup, not think about the City game coming up or anything like that. We've got to just focus on beating West Brom and staying in the chase for top four. And not just top four, I actually think it's very possible we can get into the top three. A win tomorrow takes us level with Manchester City on 50 points and leaves us only 2 points behind Arsenal, who again look shaky today. I only caught the second half of Arsenal and Spurs, and the way they just capitulated once they got the red card. They did excellent to get back into it, and really they was holding on towards the end as they ground out a draw. Spurs should have took the 3 points. I was a bit disappointed they didn't take the 3 points. That would have only left Arsenal potentially 1 point ahead of us, and it makes it a little bit more interesting at the top. There's now a 5-point gap between Leicester and Spurs, and I hope Leicester go and do it. I really do, for a myriad of reasons. But I'm thinking the top two's probably pretty set right now. I think us, Arsenal, and City, and I guess you really have to include West Ham in this. Us four now fighting for 2 spaces. I'd like to see, I see West Ham dropping out of it, but I'm not 100% sure that I do, because Payet is absolutely firing them forward at the moment. Manchester City, I think they don't give a fuck about the Premier League at the moment. Their form has been horrific. They was always going to pick up 3 points against Villa today. I think they're probably going to pick up 3 points against Norwich. We just have to stay in the hunt and hope that when we play them, we're able to take 3 points off them and take ourselves above them. Arsenal, they're completely stuttering all over the place now with Cech being out. I mean, the reserve keeper had a decent game today, but Cech being out is a big blow for them. The reserve keeper can step up once or twice, but in this meaty period when they've got so many games, can he consistently pull it out for them? I wouldn't be surprised to see both City and Arsenal plummet. And how crazy would it be, actually, if it was us and West Ham ended up coming 3rd and 4th? If you bet on that at the start of the season, you're probably never working a day in your life. I tell you what, if you pick Leicester, if you pick the top 4 by the end of this season, in the order that they come in, you're a millionaire, my friend. And if you're not, you should be. So what are West Brom going to offer us? So we're going to the Hawthorns, and we're going to face a very well-drilled side. The problem that West Brom have got is consistency, and I think a problem of their consistency comes down to the fact that they do not play the same formation. I've just had a quick scan over their last 10 games, and they've played 4 different formations. They've played 4-5-1, they've played 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2 and 4-4-3. And I think the players not knowing, and there was no rhyme or reason to it neither. It was not like they would play a bit safe at home and then kind of go for it, or vice versa, a bit safe away and then go for it at home. There was no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. Their results are as inconsistent as their deployment of any sort of system and formation. Their forwards, Rondon and Berahino, on their day can cause you absolute nightmares. And I think what I would expect to see from West Brom tomorrow is I would expect them to go 4-4-2, and I would expect them to use the blueprint that Watford probably deserve more out of in midweek. With 2 very quick strikers, not as physical as the Watford strikers, smaller and probably a little faster. So different sort of issues for us to deal with. And I think they might get something out of it. I wouldn't expect a win tomorrow easily. I think we're going to have to really fight for it. If we show the level of spirit we've shown against Arsenal, we will do it. If we show the level of spirit we do against Watford, we may get turned over, we may come away with a draw, or we may just pull out a little bit of magic in the 83rd minute when we don't really deserve it and end up pulling the 3 points away. It'd be nice if we did, because Lady Luck has not been sitting on our shoulder this year, has she? She's been looking elsewhere, so maybe if luck can shine on us a little bit and we can come out with something in the game. And again, this is another one of those games. This is a bottom half of the table side that we should be going to, and we should just spanking, coming away with the 3 points. But again, these are the games that we've struggled in this season. These are the games that we've not done well in. These are the games that have let us down, really. And on the back of December, the fan base has just got so little confidence in our own ability to be able to not only take a lead, but advance a lead or even hold on to a league. So we go to West Brom, a Tony Pulis side. Tony Pulis loves it against the big sides, doesn't he? I think he lies awake at night dreaming of beating the likes of United and City and Chelsea and all the rest of it. I think that's what keeps him going at night. And here's the side that I would go with. I'm just going to put it up on a screen here behind you. The side that I would like to go with, I'm going to go for Spanish David net. I'm going to go for Varela at right back, and I'm going to go for Cameron Borthwick-Jackson at left back. I think he's got to be over his illness by now, so surely he's going to be back in the mixer. Centre half, I really toyed over this one. I'm not sure. If Rojo's fit, then for me, he has to start. If he's not fit, then obviously he can't start. I didn't see Timothy Fosu Mensah do much wrong against Watford, and he dealt with that sort of outlet. And I think you're going to see a very similar sort of outlet from West Brom, where they're going to soak up pressure and then look to spread it with two forwards that are going to give us aggro. Him alongside Blind, he's not the worst thing in the world because he's got the pace and he's also got the physical threat where he can deal with that. And Blind can deal with the organisation and maybe the distribution a little bit more. And even though it's not the most perfect centre-half partnership that we could come up with, it blends nicely, I think, or it can blend nicely. So I would like to see Timothy Fosu Mensah alongside Blind. If that's all we've got, if Chris Smalling's back, then Chris Smalling's in ahead of... I'm not even bothered. You can play him alongside Timmy for me. You can play him alongside Blind, because the two of them, they had a fantastic partnership early in the season. They've clearly got some sort of an understanding going on, and I wouldn't mind to see that progressed. Then the midfield too. I thought Schneiderlin and Herrera struggled to get any sort of authority on the game against Watford, and Watford's tactics meant that they flooded the midfield, and we essentially played with a midfield 2 against a midfield 5. They had a midfield 4, but Deeney was dropping in to be an extra man in midfield. So they got crowded out a little bit. They were struggling for options. They were struggling to be able to pick a pass through the thirds into the opposition territory, and we were struggling to get our talented ball players on the ball. Now, we play with a midfield 2 and like a forward 4. The 3-1 element of that, when we're laid out on the pitch, wasn't really being represented. It was literally a forward 4. Mata would stand next to the forward, the wingers would be pushed right up, and it was almost like a flat line in between. I want to see the number 10 and the number 9 start acting like a bit of a pivot, like an old school centre-forward partnership where one comes and one goes, and drag the defence around. Let's move them around. Let's not make it easy for these defenders, because we make it far too easy, far too static, not enough movement. So I would like to see whoever we put up front just cutting across the line. Hernandez was absolutely fantastic at it. If you watched him when he wasn't on the ball, he would be at the right-hand side centre-half, and he'd be on the right-hand side of the right-hand side centre-half, and he'd be behind him. So while the play's going on ahead of him, they might even be on the ball. Hernandez is messing around with the centre-half, so the centre-half's constantly having a turn around. There he is, he's there. All right, I've got him. He's still there? He's still there. All right, okay. And then he turns around again, and he's not there. He's on this side of him. So he turns around, goes all the way around. Oh, there he is. Found him. It's all right, okay. And then he would just sneak off. He would stay offside, quite often where he got called offside all the time. And he would go and stand on the opposite side of the left back. And now the two defenders, instead of watching the game, looking for breaks that are coming, they're going, pick him up, make sure you get him. You got him? You got him. Sound. And then he's looking over. Is he got him? And then he'll look over and he's not there, and he'll be like, oh, is he back with me again now? Hernandez was an absolute genius at this, and that is what helps a team move and find gaps, is when the centre-halves don't know who's picking him up. If you're just standing in front of a centre-half, onside, and the centre-half's got you, he can even put a hand on you, how easy is it to mark you? He sees this, yeah, keep him there. And as you're running back, whatever's happening on the ball, you can see him in your periphery. When he's behind you in an offside position, you've got to constantly turn around. It takes you out of the game, and that was one of the best things that Hernandez did at United, really. He was an absolute gem. I love watching the off-ball stuff that Hernandez used to do, and I think we need something like that at least in our forward lineup. So midfield 2, Herrera, Schneiderlin. I like this burgeoning sort of partnership, and I want to see it develop to excellently technical footballers doing completely different roles, and I think it's a nice blend between the two of them. On the right hand side, I'm going for a change this time. I called for Jesse Lingard to be rested, and I thought he was excellent when he came on against Watford. He looked really bright and looked really up for it. I'd bring him back into the team on the right hand side. I want to see Memphis continued on the left hand side. He's got to keep playing. This confidence is going to result in something big, I think. An absolute wonder goal. I can see it coming. I also want to see Anthony Martial up front. And I want to see Juan Mata in the hole. So I have dropped Marcus Rashford, not because I think his performances have been poor. I just want to see this team play. And I think one of the best things that you get from Rashford is his energy. And I think his energy is hard to deal with in the first minute. So I wouldn't mind seeing Rashford with 20 minutes to go. A tired West Brom side that have had to deal with Memphis and Martial and Lingard all day. And then you put Rashford on. hopefully to secure you a win that you've already sort of got in the bag. But if not, if we're chasing a game, then I think he's got that sort of Tevez-style tempo and energy where he can change the game for us and bring something in. And that's about it. I want to see more of these youngsters on the bench, which I'm sure I will. Pereira especially being one of them. And I think he's got to get some game time. And then whoever else is available. So I'll just run through that team again. So it's David De Gea in net. Varela, Borthwick-Jackson as the fullbacks. Fosu, Mensah and Blind at centre-half. Schneiderlin and Herrera in midfield. Lingard on the right. Memphis on the left. Mata in the middle. And Martial up front. And I think that's the team to go and do us a job at the Hawthorns tomorrow. I think we can come away with a win, but I think it's going to be a really tough game. Don't expect to see anything in the first 15-20 minutes. I'd be surprised if we do. I think it's going to be a game that we have to grind out, maybe look to set pieces, maybe look to hit them a little bit on the counter. Because the problem is, especially with the Tony Pulis team, when they decide to sit deep and when they decide to have nothing going forward whatsoever, they're incredibly hard to break down. And that is the problem that we've had all season. Tony Pulis isn't stupid. He's going to look at what United have struggled at and he's going to go, guess what? My team's awesome at doing that if we decide to do that. So, going to be a frustrating game tomorrow. Just hope that the Reds can pull it out with a nice 3 points and keep that title charge going. Title charge? It's not title charge. Keep that top 3, top 4 charge going. How far we have slipped. Anyway, thank you for watching. As usual, bang it in the comments what you think is going to happen for tomorrow. Who you want to see, what you reckon the score is going to be, and anything else that you'd like to see me waffle about during the week. I will have a review after the game for you, and make sure you check out Full Time Devils for all the content throughout the day. There's going to be Snapchats from Adam all the way through. There'll be a live with whoever they've got on the live. I'm not going tomorrow, and then there's be fan cams galore, left, right, and centre. Thank you for watching. See you soon.